and welcome to hamburger season where everyone is eating hamburgers this summer. We have mixed it up a little bit and we are now making smashed tacos. I made this a few times and my kids keep requesting it because it is their new favorite way of eating hamburgers. And instead of the traditional hamburger bun, we are using naan bread. You can do tortillas, you can do store-bought naan bread. I am making homemade sourdough naan bread, and you put your ground beef. Anyway, I'll show you how to make it. It's really delicious. I pulled out our ground beef from the deep freezer today. We bought a 1/4 of a cow earlier this spring, and so our deep freezer is full of really great grass-fed beef, and I love doing it this way because I just know I always have meat on hand and that it's a healthier meat. So this is thawing out. I'll put it in the fridge to thaw out while I make up the naan bread. If you've watched any of my sourdough videos, you know I have a collection of the discard from feeding my starter, and so this is a great recipe to use up some of that discard. You want 3/4 cup of discard, and I am actually going to 1.5 times this recipe for my family, but I'll tell you what a normal recipe calls for, and that gives you about 12 flatbreads. Whenever I make anything, and I mean anything with sourdough, I immediately go to the sink and rinse it off. And people say, don't put this down the drain because you'll clog the drains. Well, most of it's off. This is just a little bit left over. You do not want dry caked on sourdough on your dishes. It is hard to get off. 1 cup of water, a 1/4 cup of olive oil, a teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. If you want to make tortillas, just omit the baking soda. 3.5 cups of flour. And give it a good mix. I cleaned my kitchen countertops off before I started, and this is how I do it. I mix it up the best I can with this dough hook, and then I hand knead the rest of the dough. I think it is so much easier to knead dough on the countertop than it is in the bowl. This dough comes together so nice, so soft, it's not sticky. I didn't need any extra flour on my countertop. I just use this little bench press to kind of bring it all together. Bench press? It's not a bench press. Bench scraper. I now knead it for about 5 minutes or so. If you do have a dough mixer, I'm sure you could put the dough hook on and do this for a few minutes. Now that I have a nice soft dough formed, I'm just going to stick it back into its bowl, cover it up, and let it sit for a few hours. The longer you let it sit, like between 4 or 8 hours, the more fermented it's going to be. I've got about 2 hours, and that's the nice thing about sourdough is it is very flexible. So it will sit on my counter for 2 hours until I form it into the flatbread. While I'm waiting for the dough to ferment on the countertop, I am going to make the dressing for this, and it is just equal parts mayo, ketchup, relish, and mustard. If you guys have fruit and you have fruit flies, you need to get one of these. Look at all of these fruit flies on the back of that I have already caught. They are attracted to the blue light and then they stick to that sticky pad. This works so good. The trick to making good naan bread is to have a really hot skillet, and I'm using a cast iron pan. While this is heating up, I am going to divide my dough out into balls. I like to just push the air out bring it together in an upside down ball, and then flip it over and just kind of build some tension and turn it into a little ball like that before I roll them out. And I will do that with all of these pieces. You know what, this one might be too big. I'm gonna cut that one in half. As soon as there's bubbles on the top, I flip it over and do the other side. I roll these out one at a time because if you were to roll them all out and let them sit on the countertop, condensation would make them sticky on the other side. I usually don't have to add a whole lot of flour to my countertop depending on how sticky my dough is to begin with. And then I just put them in a pan and cover them up with a towel so they stay warm. And this goes on repeat until I get them all cooked up. For the hamburger, I am just cooking up some ground beef on the stove top with some, this is Montreal steak seasoning, but whatever is your favorite hamburger seasoning, you can just add to it. Now for the fun part, we get to assemble our smashed tacos. I just set the oven to 375 degrees. Just trying to find like the bigger ones because they were not all uniform.
Hey, buddy, you get a new phone, okay?
No, you put it in there.
Hey, bye. Oh my God, drop my lips.
Hey, who opened the cage?
Lucy. My Oscar. Can I do it? It's like you're on beach or something.
Yeah,
Fine.
the pickles are to go in here, honey. Do you remember this yummy sauce? Just kind of drizzle it on there. I feel like I'm in a rush now, but you can also chop up some onion and put that in there. That would be really good.
Wait, what? Where's the onion?
I don't have an onion chopped up and I want to eat, so we're not doing an onion.
Should I shred up more cheese? Oh no.
I'll fold these in half like this. No, it doesn't say how many pickles there are.
Probably like 18. 18? No.
Okay, that one doesn't get a pickle because you ate
There's
it.
like more pickles.
Okay, tuck that in there.
Fold
it in half.
Oh, like with the cups?
Here's the assembled smashed tacos. You just put them in the oven for about 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. All right, and this here is a smashed taco at its finest. A little messy, but super delicious. You can add whatever toppings you want to it. Let me know down in the comments below if you end up trying it yourself.